Hey everyone, today is a very exciting day because today is the day that I get to announce the opening day of Cabin Fever Challenge 2021. Now, this has been the Rifle Chair Cabin Fever Challenge as much as he likes to, take himself out of the focus here. And this year I am very humbled and honored to be the kind of match officiator. I have 5 excellent people helping me out to head up each division. But today, or this year, I should say, Rifle Chair has asked to kind of take a step back, let someone else kind of take the lead on this and continue this on and hopefully continue this on in the future while still maintaining an active role. I'm going to run through who all the division leaders are for this year. Some of them are people you have seen. Well, pretty much all of them will probably be people you've seen compete in this competition already, and it should be a really interesting group of people helping out this year. So what I want to go ahead and do to announce, again, here starting January 1st, 2021, the opening of Cabin Fever Challenge is basically run down the rule sheet, which is available through the Facebook page. I will also have a link to the rule set in the description down below. So if you have any questions or need any clarification, definitely look there. And then I will also let you guys know how to get more clarification if the rules still don't make sense, or if you still have any questions where you can get clarification on that. So first and foremost, even though this competition is based around maintaining and demonstrating skills of musketry, the utmost importance has to be placed on safety. So if you cannot perform any of the shooting positions safely, or if you have any concerns of being able to do it in a safe environment, please reconsider competing in the challenge this year until you can either gain those skills to competently run through the course of fire, or until you have a location where you can safely engage targets at 100 yards or 100 meters. Something we also have to keep in mind there is during the nomination phase, should you choose to nominate someone, make sure that you're nominating someone who can, again, complete this course of fire safely and has a safe environment to compete in it. Obviously, one of the important details is what the timeline is for the Cabin Fever Challenge 2021. And just like with years past, opening day is January 1st and closing day is March 31st. So all submissions must be put in by March 31st. After that, all the scores will be tallied, and then the awards ceremony video will go out. One other thing to keep in mind with this competition, again, as in years past, the only calibers that are going to be valid for submissions are going to be center fire cartridges only. That can be pistol or rifle, with the exception, obviously, of the muzzle loading division. Center fire rifle or pistol isn't really an option there. So obviously there's that exception, but basically no rimfire, so no 22 long rifle or anything like that. There are obvious exceptions for people who have either disabilities or for younger children who might need something lighter recoiling. However, unfortunately, that will not be entered into the totals for the different 5 divisions. However, typically we do give honorable mention at the end of the event just to recognize those people who are still participating even if they can't submit into one of the 5 existing divisions. And kind of going along with that, children are more than welcome to participate as long as they are under the supervision of an adult who can make sure, once again, that the competition and the course of fire is done in a very safe manner. So now that we have the broad kind of overview rules there right done out the gate, let's go ahead and talk about the 5 divisions. These are going to be the same divisions that have been going on last year with the addition of Division 5 and the same 4 divisions that were going on previous to that. So first up, we have the Classic Division, Classic Semi-Automatic Division or Vintage Division, and this is going to encompass all semi-automatic rifles going up until about 1958. So, M1 Garands, M1 carbines, SKS, VZ58, a standard AK-47, basically, again, any semi-automatic rifle built before or designed before 1958. And then it also has to be fired in the configuration that it would have been issued during that timeline. So if you are using a modified or updated version of one of those rifles, that's going to move it into Division 2. So for example, I have a visual aid with me right now. While a standard AK-47 would fall into Division 1, if I were to use my SBR here with modern optics, modern ergonomics and controls and muzzle devices and whatnot, that is going to bump me out of the Classic Division and move me into the Modern Unlimited Division. So with that, let's go ahead and talk about the Modern Unlimited Division. That is going to be pretty much any semi-automatic rifle designed after 1958 to include all AR-15s. We get this question every single year. What about your bog standard, Vietnam issued M16 style gun? It's going to fall into Division 2. Again, all AR-15s of all designs fall into Division 2. So AR-15s, again, modified AK-47s, your SCARs, your FAMASas, if anyone's going to be competing with that. Any of the modern bullpups, a lot of the European designed guns, anything, again, after 1958, and it was going to fall into the modern division, along with any of the vintage ones used in a more modern configuration or with the addition of modern optics. And again, we have a little bit more of an exhaustive list of potential firearms that would fall into Category 2 on the rule page, again, linked down below. So Division 3 is going to be your manually operated division. So that's going to be all your bolt action rifles, all your lever action rifles, anything that requires a manual operation in between each round fired. If you have a pump action rifle, for example, that would also fall into your manually operated division. This is where all of your classic milsurp bolt actions are going to fall into, as well as your modern deer guns, should you want to choose to shoot one of those. Now, there has been some request for an additional manually operated division to kind of separate the clip-fed guns or magazine-fed guns versus the kind of top-fed hunting rifles. We kind of, as a cadre of division leaders, kind of decided to keep it a little bit more simple. However, we do plan on giving at least an honorable mention to people who choose to take an additional challenge onto themselves or do something kind of out of the norm in regards to that. Division 4 is going to be our single shot rifles, so your kind of break actions, your falling blocks, anything like that is all going to fall under Division 4. And then Division 5 is all muzzleloaders. So there are slight differences in what the course of fire is going to be depending on which division that you are competing in. So Divisions 1 through 4 as normal, the course of fire is going to take place at 100 meters. If you only have access to 100 yards, such as myself, that's the distance that you're going to be competing at. Division 5, again, the muzzleloaders are going to be competing at 50 meters or 50 yards, again, depending on what ranges you have access to. So 100 yards for 1 through 4, 50 yards for Division 5. The course of fire is going to consist of 5 shots standing with a mandatory reload, 5 shots kneeling with a mandatory reload, 5 shots prone with a mandatory reload, and then 5 shots sitting, in that order. And again, there has to be a reload that takes place between each position. So even if you're running 30 round magazines, you're probably going to want to only load those things to 5 rounds so that you can perform a reload in between positions. Now, again, one exception there for Division 5 with the muzzleloaders, you will be firing only 1 round in each position, and it's going to come down to your personal discretion whether you want to swap the barrel in between. Again, whatever you deem to be safe for your specific circumstances is how you are going to operate between each round fired. So if you just want to keep loading up, that's fine. If you want to swap the barrel between each round fired, that again is going to be your prerogative. One thing that is important to mention when it comes to the different shooting positions is all positions have to be shot unsupported. So no sandbags, no bipods, nothing like that. Can't shoot off of a backpack in the prone position. The only support you can use, should you want to use it, is some sort of sling. If you want to bind into your sling, that is up to you. There's just nothing you can use to help support your position. You can't use a shooting bag or anything like that. It all has to be unsupported, again, unless you want to use a sling. Now, the way that this competition is scored is it's going to basically be based on your time and your number of hits on the target, at 100 meters. So basically the way it works out is your timer is going to start at your very first shot and it's going to end on your very last shot, your 20th shot if you're divisions 1 through 4, or your 5th shot in division 5. So you don't have to worry about having a shot timer set up and going off of a beep. Again, our timer starts at your very first shot, ends at your very last shot fired. Again, all rounds are going to be shot at a 8-inch target at 100 yards. And so you're going to count your number of hits times 5 divided by the total time in seconds times 100. That might seem a little confusing. I'm going to have that diagram on screen. If you look back at previous year's submissions or look at other people's videos that they've done in Cabin Fever Challenges past, you can kind of get a better idea of what that kind of works out to. But again, the number of hits inside the 8-inch target, and if it breaks the line, it counts, times 5 divided by total time in seconds from your first shot to your last shot times 100. And again, that's going to give you your final score for the competition for that division. Now, I want to talk about the nomination process. So when you are submitting your score, if you want to do it during your video portion that you're going to submit, or whether you want to do it, via text on the Facebook page, you are encouraged to nominate someone that you want to also participate in this competition. Again, just going back to what I said earlier about making sure anyone that you nominate is going to be capable of completing this course of fire in a safe manner. And this is just a good way for us to kind of build some community here, get other people involved in it, and just have as much support as we can in this competition. The next portion of the rule sheet is the deadlines. Again, I did say, and we'll probably say again, that the timeline in which you can compete in or shoot/submit your submissions is going to be January 1st through March 31st. So April 1st is going to be too late. So March 31st is the very final date that you can get your submissions done by. So I would definitely make plans to shoot earlier than later. If you were involved with it last year, we had some people who got their submissions in really early, and then with global events of 2020, submissions really started to trail off because people either had their ranges closed or other things came up that would prevent them from being able to go out and shoot. So I would encourage you to try to get it as done as you reasonably can and can do in a safe manner, because who knows what 2021 has in store. But again, kind of I guess the early bird gets the worm, and I would try to get it done as quick as you can. Now, I don't like to talk about this, but it is something we have to do. So far, we haven't really run into this, and that is talking about the honor system. Obviously, given the format in which this competition takes place, i.e. video submissions through the internet, everything is kind of based on the honor system. And we do have, again, 5 very, very competent division leaders this year who are going to be evaluating each and every submission that shows up in our inbox. And if there is any question whatsoever as to the legitimacy of the scores or the targets or the time, we will definitely catch it, and we will obviously either disqualify that person or ask them to resubmit in a way that makes things less questionable. Again, it's not something we've run into in the past, but it's definitely something we like to avoid, and something I do want to explicitly state just to cover all our bases here. Now, one of the most important things that is kind of changing for this year is the way that submissions will be submitted, and that is going to be via email. We've had problems in years past. It's been uploading it to the Facebook page or providing a link on the Facebook page, and we've had some issues with people actually doing that. This year we decided to try something different, since not everyone wants to use Facebook, and we also don't want to spend 3 or 4 days trying to find every single submission on YouTube and then have to reshoot our awards videos. So what we're going to be doing this year is every single submission has to be sent to the email address that you'll see at the bottom of the screen, and will also be in the description box below, so you can just copy and paste it and not worry about getting it wrong. You will include, and again, this is going to be all in the rule books down in the description as well. You're going to want to state which division you are going to be submitting that video for. You're going to need to provide a link to that video wherever you have it posted, along with your name or whatever alias you want to be going as for the Cabin Fever Challenge, you know, your score, firearm that you used, all that kind of stuff. And in your video that you submit, you need to, again, show the entire course of fire being performed, as well as a target. We need to see your target. And if you can do it in all one unbroken shot, that's ideal. If you can have 2 cameras set up, one on the target and one on you, that would be excellent as well. And then we also need to have a very clear shot of your target. So make sure that if you're going to walk down to your target, or you're, you know, showing your target, you need to have a very clear shot. And if you can even walk us through your target, that would be better. Again, our division leaders have to be able to very clearly discern what are hits, what might be a double hole that's slightly elongated. So please do us a favor and show at very least a very clear still image of the target. But again, if you can walk us through it and show hits and misses, that would be even better. Now, while you can compete in as many divisions as you want and you can fire as many firearms per division as you want, you can only submit 1 entry per division. So I plan on shooting quite a few different guns in the Cabin Fever Challenge this year, but I will only get 1 submission per division. So again, you can run it as many times as you want with as many items as you want, but you will only be able to submit 1 run per division. And again, you can compete in as many divisions as you want. I know there's going to be quite a few people competing in all 5, if not most people, just 3 or 4 of them. So, and we want to encourage that as much as we possibly can. And if you decide that there is a way that you want to compete in it that is not covered by one of the divisions, such as myself, I have some plans this year for an interesting way to do it. Again, that you're more than welcome to do that. Just know that it won't be, it'll either be forced into one of the existing divisions or it just won't be counted as part of the overall competition. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't also take it upon yourself to enjoy this competition in your own way and develop the skills that you want to develop as a rifleman, riflewoman, or, you know, just understanding and improving your skills of musketry. Now, as far as the target being used, we do have an official 8-inch target that you can download and print from, again, the rulebook page on the internet. If you don't have access to a printer, you can use just a commercially available 8-inch target. Just make sure that when you're filming the video that you actually show us with the measuring tape edge to edge that it is 8 inches, just because scale can be a hard thing to get just from a video alone. When you are printing the official match target, make sure that you set your scale to 100%. Sometimes things will, depending on the printer you're using, will kind of enlarge or shrink things. So make sure you have it set to 100% so you get the actual 8-inch target, and that will work great on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Very, very easy thing to print out. And again, we definitely encourage and would hope that you use that target. Again, if you absolutely cannot have access to a printer, by all means use a commercial 8-inch black target. It has to be just a plain black target as best you can. And again, just show us with a measuring tape that that is what you're doing. So I know that was kind of a long video. I know that a lot of you guys have already participated in this in years past, and I really enjoy having you guys back. Again, I am honored and humbled to be heading up the competition this year, but I am very, very thankful that I have some awesome gentlemen helping me out this year. We've got a really, really good group of guys who are very, very skilled at this, and I think it'll add a little bit more diversity and interest to what our final, especially the awards video, is going to be. So again, I want to say thanks to Rifle Chair for coming up with this stuff in the first place and helping to make this stuff happen. We've got Tudnam, who has been involved in years past as well, who has been a great supporter of what's been going on. We've got 3D Murray, who has made some awesome submission videos in years past and was also a division leader last year, who does really, really excellent work and is also a fantastic shot. We've got Rick Nethry, who has participated, I think, at least in the very last 2 or 3 years in this competition. Started out with some very basic camera work and is now working up to developing his own equipment and his own shooting ability as well. So we're really glad to have him as a part of it. And then last but not least, we have a guy joining us from Finland, which I'm really excited about. Glad we're kind of branching out of North America a little bit and bringing in another representative of a country who also values firearms ownership and skills. And I apologize in advance if I butcher your name here, but Jonas out of Finland is going to be heading up one of the divisions as well. And we're really excited to have him involved in the competition this year on the division leader side of things. So that is it. Again, if you have any questions, you can send it to the email that is going to be linked down below for clarification. You can also contact us via Facebook. Once again, I encourage you to look through the rules, even though I did my best to articulate them here in this video, just for any clarification, or if you have any stuff that you want to dig a little bit deeper into, or if you just want to see the format by which you score the competition. So I want to wrap up by once again saying thanks to Rifle Chair for creating this environment that we all find ourselves in and creating this nice community of people who are in mutual support of each other. I'm glad again that we have a little bit more of an international reach this year, and I'm really excited to see what that brings. And I can't wait to see all the submissions that come in this year. Again, I'd encourage you to get out there early because who knows what 2021 has in store. So if we can knock out stuff early, that would be ideal. But anyway, with all that being said, as always, I hope you got something out of this video, and I really appreciate you watching.